You got this shit knocking low.
How is everybody's Tuesday going? It is June 30th. Yeah, June 30th. And this is the Chase Carter Concept Podcast. Let's get into it. There's a lot of news going along the past week that I've been seeing. And one thing that I saw that didn't get hardly any headlines, ABC reported this. This is the headline. Nearly 400 children rescued and 348 adults arrested in Canada. Child pornography bust. 400 children. Absolutely insane. I'm just going to give you a few. I'm not going to give you the grim details. It's been a 3-year project. These people have been investigated for 3 years. Could you imagine being a FBI, I don't know who arrested them, FBI or some kind of agent, trying to hunt down these pedophiles and having to resist killing them for 3 years? Like, you know this abuse is going on, but you have to gather all of the evidence in order to make a case so that they don't get out of it, and making sure you try to get as much of this organization as possible. The 3-year project, named Project Spade, began when undercover officers within the Toronto Police Service Child Exploitation Service made contact with a Toronto man allegedly sharing very graphic images, in quotes, of child sexual abuse in 2010, Toronto Police Chief William Burr said in a press conference. Their investigation revealed an entire child movie production and distribution company in Toronto, Canada, the place where everybody gets along and you can leave your doors unlocked. Well, this is the result of leaving your doors unlocked. And nobody's racist also in Canada. The way they treat the black hockey players up there, completely civil. But it's this utopia everyone talks about. Okay. Anyways, it's just, they're humans there? They're terrible just like everybody else? Okay, cool. I'm not going to give you the website. It gives you the website that they obviously shut down, but that they distributed these films out of. The site was run by 42-year-old Brian Way, W-A-Y, according to police, and he sold and distributed image of child exploitation to people across the world. Some of the videos were exported to other countries. Yeah, so the police seized over 45 terabytes of data from the $4 million business that distributed to over 50 countries, Australia, Spain, Mexico, Sweden, and Greece. As a result of the investigation, 50 people were arrested in Ontario, 58 in the rest of Canada, 67 in the I flipped that. 76 in the United States, and 164 internationally. Inspector Bevan Desgardens, I'm not even going to try, said the most alarming part was that many of these arrests were people who worked with or closely interacted with children. Oh, look at that. Among anyone who shows interest in children, I'm very wary of, men or women. Among those arrested were 40 school teachers, 9 doctors and nurses. I'd like to know the split, doctors and nurses. 6 law enforcement personnel, 9 pastors and priests, and 3 foster parents. Now, I also want to know the male to female difference in ratio, because I'm going to guess 90% of them were male, maybe even more. She said police found over 350,000 images and over 9,000 videos of child abuse in the home of retired Canadian school teacher. And some of the images of the children were known to the man. The children were known to the man. He was also charged with sexually abusing a child relative. Now, if that doesn't get your Tuesday going, I just get violent when I hear these stories. I get not sick to my stomach. Oh, obviously I get sick, but I get angry. I get like it's not a good feeling to have. Just reading this right now, getting physically upset. I'm acting like it's happening right in front of me. And it's just extremely, extremely disturbing. But let's go on. Let's move on. Now imagine what you would do to a pedophile. And then you did it. And then everything's good. I mean, you evened the score. They abused and then you killed them. And then you physically harmed them. Oh, you're not allowed to think that. Fine. We caught them in a sting and they're arrested and they'll spend their life in jail. Everything's good. This is a sad story, but also, it's not funny, but 3 people died and 1 is permanently blind after drinking hand sanitizer in Mexico. If you've ever met someone who thought drinking hand sanitizer was a good idea, say if your friend Bob came over. You're like, hey, Bob, hey, how you doing? Oh, what's that? What's that you got in your thermos? It's hand sanitizer. Ha ha, good one, Bob. And he actually had hand sanitizer in his thermos? Would you miss your friend? Would you like, oh, Bob's an idiot, or we don't need him. We don't need him. I'm thinking that a lot of these things are just ways to weed out the dumb people or the weak people out of society. And overall, that's a good thing. Now there's 3 less people clogging up the freeways. Think about it positive. I'm trying to be positive here. Now, if these were mentally ill people who are mentally handicapped, then the story's not so funny. But if you're thinking that drinking hand sanitizer is a good idea, I think children know that. I think children know that that's not a good idea. You can smell it. You ever drink something, like eat or drink something, and you smell it first, and you're like, nah, that's not good for me. That's not good. There's a reason why when milk, if I can talk, there's a reason when milk sours, it tastes bad. It's to warn you that it's bad. There are things in place. Now, cheese is a bad example because cheese smells like shit, but then sometimes it's really good. Depending on the cheese. A lot of the cheese that has those terrible smells I don't like. This is another thing I'm scared of. Apple suddenly catches TikTok secretly spying on millions of iPhone users. Oh, you mean TikTok, the app that is produced by communist China? Over there? Really? They have a backdoor into taking all that stuff? Just like that one face app that made everybody old? Now China has your face to do what they will with it? But this isn't as bad because, this isn't... They can, which is a weird thing to have, they can see what you copied, the last thing that you copied and pasted. So there's a thing called I don't know if people there's a clipboard on your phone, like the past things that you copied and tried to copy and paste, and they can look at the last thing that you copied and pasted. That was the error or whatever, the hack. And then in news, Facebook which is kind of interesting because it lost a lot of the advertisers are pulling for 30 days. They said, we're pulling our advertisement from Facebook for 30 days. They didn't say permanently. So what Facebook is going to do is take the hit, their stock's going to go down, and then all those people are going to buy the stock later. And then when the advertisers return, when nobody's paying attention, it's going to go right back up to where it was. So they're going to make money off of this. But the CEO and chairman, James Quincy of Coca-Cola, said there is no place for racism in this world, and there is no place for racism on social media. The Coca-Cola company will pause paid advertising on all social media platforms globally for at least 30 days. At least. Not until they see change at all, but at least 30 days. We will take this time to reassess our advertising policies to determine whether revisions are needed. We also expect greater accountability and transparency from our social media partners. I think they're trying to get in on the action. I think that's what it is, transparency. So if they can see more of the advertisements and who's seeing it, they're going to either pay less for it. Pay less for that Coca-Cola banner you see on Facebook. So it's all like with them, it's all a money grab. There's an interesting story. These actors, I'm just trying to stay calm. There are white actors who play animated characters, fake characters, cartoon characters, that are quitting their jobs because the character that they portray is a mixed race character. And they said that role should go to a mixed race person. So Bart Simpson, a little boy, he's not played by a little boy. He's played by a woman, a grown woman. So in cartoons that show children, like middle school kids, can only middle school kids play them? It's not like somebody lost a job over it. The best person for the job should get that job. I don't understand, like, where does this go to? The whole point of acting, it's supposed to be like a colorblind thing. Like, it's supposed to be, you shouldn't have any restrictions on it. So if you're playing a military personnel, should we only get military personnel to play people in the military? I don't know, and I could be wrong in this argument. Like, I understand trying to get more jobs for black people because they're misrepresented. I get that, but I don't understand quitting your job. Like, people like what you did. You're really good at what you do. You're the top voice actor. You're not the top voice actor because you're white. You're the top voice actor because you're good at voice acting. So you have to quit your job? That's like a black player in the NBA quitting his job and saying, no, there's not enough white people. The white player, the white athlete has been discriminated against, and I'm quitting my job to make room for them. What are we doing? I don't know if that's a good argument. It's just something I thought of in my head, but I don't understand the point of this. Now, if you know somebody who didn't get, like, there's tons of people who don't get the job because you're better than them at it. So should you just, because you're really good at something, now you're really good at something, and you're oppressing the people who aren't as good, regardless of their color. So you should just quit. Everyone at the top of their game should just quit their job. Quit it. Give other people some money. I make enough money. Or how about people like you, people like the things that you do, and you keep doing it. I just don't get the idea now, like, I don't know if you know this, but Heath Ledger wasn't gay in Brokeback Mountain. So he shouldn't have played that role. He's not gay. Also, wasn't a cowboy. Can't play that role. Can't play it. We have to restrict acting a made-up world where grown-ups play pretend. It's this false gift. It doesn't fix anything. I'm not going to put, there's multiple white actors that quit their job, but what does that do in the grander scale of racism? Say there was racism in this world. Not in this world, obviously, but in this instance. And I just don't know how quitting your job fixes people, like police brutality and people being mistreated. I don't understand that. Maybe I have a limited brain and I'm not thinking about this clearly enough. But I just don't. I see the gesture. I see the gesture and how it could help somebody of color get a voice acting gig and help their career. But then do you not take any, like in the future, do you not take any jobs or only mixed race jobs? So then we're segregating more. I don't get it. If you're, it's like Jamie Foxx wasn't blind in Ray. He also, he could play. I was like, he's not a pianist, but he's actually really good at music and singing. So I'm just wondering, where does this stop? I get it's a whole idea of blackface, about how it was racist back in the day. But then Jimmy Kimmel plays Karl Malone and is making fun of Karl Malone, and he puts on dark makeup. That's not the version of blackface. If that you're offended by that, that's fine, you're allowed to be offended by anything, but it's not the same thing. White people dressed up as black people to make fun of them, to like make fun of their quote unquote how like, and they made these stupid voices and they spoke incorrectly to make fun of them. That's wrong. But when you're making fun of like one person, so like if you're white, you can't make fun of any other race. If you're black, you can only make fun of black people. Where exactly does it stop? Is my thing. But I get that it's a group that's been oppressed for generations. And so is that the reason why like white people are just going to sit back and say, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to get out of all these possible sticky situations that could be viewed as racist. They could be doing it for their own career move. You're like, well, I don't want 10 years from now to people to look back on said actor and well, hey, you played a mixed race person. You took away, and then their career's gone in 10 years. So maybe that's the reason they're doing it not to get in trouble, which is not a good reason to do something. Maybe. I don't know. I just don't think much at all. But I don't believe that that's going to fix anything. These empty gestures of look how woke I am, and then the people that are going to replace them. Are they going to do an imitation of that voice so it doesn't throw off viewers? So I don't get it. Let's see, what else? I just don't. California shakes up auto industry, says all vans and trucks must be electric by 2024. Yahoo News. Read the article, and they take effect in 2024, and they want all the trucks to mandate zero emission trucks by 2045. So that's the real headline, but they put it 2024, so you click on it and you're like, what? We're not allowed to have a truck in 4 years, unless it's electric? No. That's not what it is. So once again, I just don't like when these headlines say one thing and then you read the article and halfway through the article, at the end of the article, they're like, yeah, well, there's also this argument or this fact that completely debunks the article that got you to click on this, the headline that got you to click on the article. Okay, now what I want to talk about now, video games, ladies and gentlemen, the PS5 and Xbox Series X. There's been leaked news that the thing's going to cost $500, $600. Nobody knows. And why are people talking about this unless it's official? Like I get that it's fun. If you want to bet between your friends, hey, I bet it's going to be $400, I bet it's going to be $500. There's digital versions that are online only that are going to come out and be cheaper. And when the Xbox One was supposedly online only, everybody freaked out and didn't buy it. But now there's an actual version of it coming out. It's all in the marketing, how you release it. But yeah, so I don't really know. I can see the games that are like the launch window games, and I'm wondering if you have one of these games that can play on both generations, it limits the game and the innovation, the differences. Because if you make a really good game that can't run on an old system, then that limits you into that small market, because not a lot of people are going to own that new console at the beginning of its life. So these game developers are double dipping. They're dipping in the new generation and the old generation that has a ton of people who own that system, and the people who could possibly buy that game is more. So I don't blame them, but is it hindering the innovation of the next gen games right now? And then Cyberpunk 2077 got pushed back to November, so that's going to be a launch game, basically, for the new console. It's going to come out in November. And you know they know when the new console's coming out. So this is going to be maybe a week before Cyberpunk or the day of. Another funny headline I read has nothing to do with video games, but Henry Cavill, it reads, Henry Cavill does his own Witcher stunts because of Tom Cruise. And I read that as Tom Cruise makes him do his own stunts, but it's because of Tom Cruise. He does his own stunts, so Henry Cavill does his own stunts. But Tom Cruise hangs off airplanes. You sword fight. That's the least you can do as a dedicated actor, is learn. If you're a character who also look at Henry Cavill, he's not a Witcher. How could he play? He has to quit his job because there are Witchers out there, half magic beings, that aren't working in Hollywood. They're being discriminated against. Oh. And then, do you grow a beard? If your character has a beard, and then the actor grows a beard? Nope, can't do that. There's bearded actors who have beards. Not allowed to do that. You're also not allowed to grow out your hair long either, Henry Cavill. That's discriminatory against people who have long hair. You're also not allowed to have white hair. That's discrimination against people who have follically challenged heads. Can't do that. And old people have white hair. Just can't do that. What are we doing? Sorry. I can see the good intentions behind, but I can't accept it yet. Maybe I'll grow. Maybe I'll grow as a person, as a human being later. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But here's hoping. I can accept everything that everyone gets offended about and agree, but I can't. A big part of me wants to push back and be like, no. But yeah, so I beat Assassin's Creed Origins. Holy cow, that game was terrible. I'm gonna go on a little rant here. Me and my girlfriend have been playing a little FIFA. She loves Sea of Thieves, as I've said before, and we've been playing exclusively Sea of Thieves. She comes home every day. She wants to get her workout done. She wants to eat dinner, and then she wants to play Sea of Thieves every single day. I had a video game. She's addicted. Last weekend, we stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning playing video games. I wanted to go to sleep at 3. I said, it's late. We need to go to sleep. And she's like, what time is it? And she didn't. I said, I'm all over the place. I said, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And she said, oh, not wow or geez or whatever. Oh, okay, let's finish this mission. I don't know what to do. I'm at a loss. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened in my life, and also the scariest. The scariest. I was doing research. So video games, funny, I think about it. She has invaded my video game time, my alone video game time, which is fine. I don't care about. But I'm going to bitch about it just because it's funny to me. And so just how I wouldn't give my mother my address, I'll give her like partial. I'll give her like the first 2 letters of the zip code. And she's like, this isn't funny. Why is it so difficult for you to tell me your address? And I'm like, I don't, because it's funny to me. She's like, it's not funny on this end. That's what makes it funny. To me, anyway. I don't care. But it's scary. It's great, and it's scary at the same time, because my alone time is when I get to play video games. I get to zone out, play with my friends on Xbox Live. Now my friends are asking where Corey is. He's like, hey, how's your girlfriend doing? Is she going to play Sea of Thieves with us? Blah, 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 blah. So now I can't even get away. She's infiltrated my video game life. And then I do these little YouTube videos breaking down NBA players while my career. I'm just thinking, my thought process was, if you know more about the players you're playing against and with, It'd just be more, the NBA is just more interesting when you know a little bit personal history, where they went to high school, college, who their parents are, blah blah blah. Any interesting stories about them, any struggles they had to go through in their life and overcome. That kind of stuff is like inspiring. So I try to find those. I do like quick little dives into that. So this week I was doing Jaylen Brown, and I was sitting at the kitchen table doing it. And she comes home, she puts her stuff away, and then she comes in. What are you doing? And I was like, oh, I was just doing research on Jaylen Brown. She's like, okay, I'll look it up. I'm going to do that. She likes looking up information and stories about stuff, finding information about him. And I'm writing down all of his stats. I hand wrote all of his statistics when he played for California. And each game I wrote them down just to see, for some reason when I handwrite stuff, I commit it to memory more. And I understand it. And it's like, even if I type something, I'm not really retaining it. So I'm sitting there handwriting all of his stats, and she brings up like his father, who's a 7-foot heavyweight boxer. And she's like, ooh, she finds out all this little stuff. Now she's infiltrating that part of my life. So I'm wondering, do women see places in their man's life and then just inject themselves into it? And I wonder if they're doing it to ruin those experiences for us. Because she watches football. She doesn't like basketball, which is great. If I want her to fall asleep, if we're sitting there watching YouTube or whatever, I'll put on like an old basketball game. 5 minutes, she's asleep. 5 minutes. But football, she'll watch every Patriots game. She says she's a Patriots fan. She's not a Patriots fan. She's a whatever home team where I'm from is doing good fan. That's what she is. And I called her out on that yesterday, and she got mad. She actually had a vein in her forehead because she was looking up Jaylen Brown information, and I was just giving her shit. I was like, if Tom Brady, the cute, long-haired white guy, wasn't on your team and he wasn't successful, you wouldn't give two shits about the Patriots. And the size of the vein on her forehead was very interesting. I was just trying to antagonize her, and I did. I was successful. I was very, very, very successful on that. But we've been playing that. We for 3 days, 3 days straight, we got on Sea of Thieves, and we got destroyed. Like we did the first part of the mission. If you don't know about it, you get like treasure maps, and you sail to different islands, and you dig up treasure, and it's a shared world with other real people. They can come in and, with their cannons, with their guns and stuff, and steal your treasure, these treasure crates or whatever, treasure chests, and then take them back and sell them for their own profit. So there are people who just wait for others to do missions and then steal all that stuff. So I like to play more passive, usually. I just like to enjoy the person that I'm playing the game with and just get my own treasure and then turn it in. I kind of like that aspect. But it's fun chasing someone, and it's also fun being hunted at the same time. So 3 days in a row, we got our shit stolen. We had 5 or 6 treasure chests. I think 10, up to 10 at one point. And this dude came on my boat. He boarded my boat, killed me and her. I think it was like it was 3 guys. Excuse me, 3 guys. Killed me and her 3 times. Took all of our didn't even hit our boat with cannons. He just boarded us. They just boarded us. Killed us 3 times, and then when we were respawning, took our treasure chest, put it on our rowboat, then detached the rowboat and rowed it back to their boat, attached it to their boat, and then sailed off. And I'm just sitting there like, I can't, because I'm not very good at the game just in general. She's worse. And playing 2 people who aren't good at the game against 3 people who are good at the game. She was like, let's go after him. I'm like, we can't. There's nothing we can do. We're just going to waste time. And we had other marks. We had other treasure maps to go do. So we just waited for them to leave, get out of sight, and then we continued on our merry way. Just getting destroyed like the 2 little bitches that we were. Oh, I was so mad. I wasn't as mad. I've realized I've been getting more upset about losing treasure, and then the last few days I've been more calm. But these last few days, no one's really bugged us. We even got in an alliance. I can't talk. I can't speak. Learn how to talk. We formed an alliance, and there's a new boss in the game, and we got all these we attacked all these ghost ships, and got the loot and blah blah blah, and formed an alliance. And it was one little sloop ship. It's a 2-person boat. Was fighting all of these crazy ghost ships, and then so we decided to go help them out. We were at the end of our mission, so with a whole bunch of supplies. So we go and try to help them. We form an alliance, and then we see a third sloop come in and join, and we're like, "Oh, this is awesome! There's 3 of us fighting all these, computer-controlled ghost ships." And these ghost ships are like these glowing green, see-through, eerie kind of big old ships. And then the boss ship comes at the end, and he's more difficult. And they're the cannons that they fire at you. They don't fire cannons. They fire like these skull ghost faces, and they scream. It's like, it's scary. They put holes in your boat. Blah blah. They light your boat on fire. And then a 4th sloop came. So it was like this. So everyone, I saw that one, which is this is like an organic part of the game that I find really interesting and fun. You see somebody doing an event, and then you can go join them, and then other people see you two doing that, and then they want to come in and join too. So our alliance formed. It was good. Nobody betrayed each other. We turned everything in, and then at the end, another boat came. Oh, and Corey, my girlfriend, she killed her first person 1-on-1 2 days ago. I was very proud. I said, just use the gun once, whatever gun you have, use it once, and then go to your sword. And hop around, block. And she did it. She beat somebody. It was great. I was very proud. And we stole their treasure, which I was very, very proud of. Couldn't have been more proud of my girlfriend. That brings a tear to my eye. So the event happened, got all the treasure with the multiple sloops in the alliance. Usually the alliances break down after the event happens. Everyone disbands the alliance and they turn on each other and there's chaos. When you can just turn everything in and get gold. Like it doesn't, that after a while doesn't matter, but people just like being, it's fun to betray somebody. It's just fun part of the game. So we're turning everything in, and then a boat pulls up, and then we all start talking. And they're a group of 2 people. It was a boyfriend and girlfriend like us. And then they had a 3rd person coming in, which I found was interesting because we were getting off, and they wanted our ship so they could have 2 sloops sail together. Because you can't do that for some reason in the game. Mainly probably for balance purposes, because you don't want like a group of people running over a server. There's a reason why they don't let you do this. But people server hop to get in the same server as their friends, and then, so it was kind of cool because so my girlfriend had to leave the game, and then his girlfriend came in my game, and then their friend joined on his, so they had 2 sloops, which is really, really cool way of kind of, I don't know, finagling the system and kind of getting a better gaming experience. I think you should be able to team up with another sloop, like 2 people, and 2 people should I don't know how it would work, like a brigantine and a sloop. 5 people can enter. Maybe have like a limit. Have 2 galleons on a server. Not 2 galleons. Maybe like a brigantine and a sloop, or just see 2 small ships. I'm not too sure how it works. But Assassin's Creed was terrible. The single player game I'm playing right now is Star Wars. The new Star Wars game. I think it's Fallen. What is that game called? It's not the. I just read a Star Wars thing where it's The Last Jedi. It's like Disney is rebooting Star Wars. And like there's always rumors about them rebooting everything. And I'm just like, why? They can't. It's against the rules. Fallen Order. That's what it is. Jedi Fallen Order. That game is awesome. That game is exactly what I wanted out of a Star Wars game. The way he moves is a little weird. I wish he was more grounded, more heavy, I guess. But the fighting is heavy. That's what I like. It takes one hit to kill a normal stormtrooper. It's a Disney license, so they're not going to have you dismember people. So the only things you dismember are like the insects you run into. You run into these weird Star Wars creatures, and you can. There's like this one. He's like a giant ram, basically. That's the size of like a horse, and your final hit on it cuts off one of his horns, and I'm like, oh, it looks really good. But you can't dismember actual people. They're just like lightsaber burn marks on them. And that kind of, it's okay, but that kind of takes you out of it a little bit. But everything else, it was, the first 5 minutes of the game are so much better than Assassin's Creed Origins. The entire game. Like, I put way too much, it's not an Assassin's Creed game. You can't hide in crowds. There's they dumbed down the traversal in the game. It's not as fluid. It's not as fun. They take away controls. Like I said, you can't run up a wall then jump to the right or left. So you can't kind of control where you're going. The story aspect is kind of cool. You can see where they rushed some things based on cutscenes. Like some cutscenes are really produced well, and then others just seem stitched together at the last moment. And seeing the production value of the Star Wars game, it's just head and shoulder. Now I understand it's a more linear game, and Assassin's Creed is open world, but still you have to. There were parts of the map I didn't even go to. I did the main mission and a bunch of side missions. There were 7-8 parts of the map that were still unlocked that I never went to. So why have a game that big? Why is your main story not taking you to all the parts? Well, blah, 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 all the parts of the map. That's what good game design is supposed to do. It's supposed to gradually introduce you to the world, not specific parts. Now, I know that's all side missions and whatnot, but I shouldn't have to do all the extra side missions that don't do anything but other than rank you up. And in an Assassin's Creed game, you're not supposed to rank up. It's not an RPG. People like this. I shouldn't have to carry. I'm one guy and I'm carrying 100 swords that have different. Oh, it's a resistance shield. It blocks flame arrows, but not these normal arrows or whatever it is. It's like, no. You're supposed to be reliving a person's memory in real life. It's supposed to be based somewhat on like historical fact and whatever. And then if you want to have these RPG elements, have them in like the hallucination realm. Like I do like that when you fought, like there's a giant snake you fight in the game, and obviously you're not going to fight a giant snake in the game, in quote unquote real life, because you're in the game. Fictionally, you're reliving the memories of somebody from the past, like somebody's actual life. So how they work around it, which is smart. He gets drugged and he has He hallucinates. Let's just say that hallucination. He hallucinates. I'm not even going to try to say it. How dumb am I right now? Jesus. He hallucinates, and I like that aspect of that kind of workaround. It's smart. And that was the only smart thing I saw the entire game. The gameplay felt like you slashed through people. There were no like real cut marks on them. When you would kill somebody, there was not a lot of oomph. And it's the exact opposite in Star Wars. You reflect, like it's all timing based. So you go into an area and there's stormtroopers with blasters, and it's like chum, 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 and they fire at you. Well, you have to wait till the blaster bolt gets close to you, then you press block, and then he brings out his lightsaber and reflects it back to him. But then if you just hold block without timing it right, he'll block them all, but they won't go back. And you have a blocking meter where you get tired if you run out. So there's one guy who has like a Gatling gun blaster, and all these bolts is just and all these things come out. So your block meter goes down quicker, so you can't take a full blast of that. But it overheats, and it cools down. So in that moment, you can close the distance, which is awesome. So there's different strategies to these different characters, and that's not in Assassin's Creed. There's guys with shields and without shields, and all you do is you hold Y for an attack. I got a blade that instantly charges an attack, so you just hold Y for a second, and then any enemy you come into contact with, I can hit with that, and that's dumb. That's just dumb down combat, and I don't. As I'm getting older, I think I'm gearing more towards like an in-depth fighting system, something that you could kind of like sink your teeth into. And I don't think Star Wars is that. I'm saying it's like it's a jump to medium. I went from Assassin's Creed Origins that's trying to get everybody to play, including little kids and children, to moms, and they're trying to get everybody. And Star Wars, I don't think, is doing that with this game. Now, you can put it on easy and story mode, and you can just zip through the game. One of my friends said, no, I think hard was too difficult, or normal was too difficult, and he had to drop it down to story. And I just lost all types of video game respect for him. All types of video game respect. Games are supposed to be difficult and fun. They're not supposed to be just fun. So if you're dying and losing, you're supposed to say, hey, what am I doing here? Why am I failing? And then when you succeed, it actually means something. And that's what I like about this game. It's difficult. I've died countless times on this big lizard guy over and over. No, he's not a guy, but it's a big lizard creature. I kept dying over and over and over, and I had no idea how to beat him, but I completely forgot if I double tap B, I do a rolling dodge, because if you hit B, you just do this little dash, this little jump dodge. But then if you double tap B, you completely get out of the way. And I'm like, oh, I'm the idiot, not the game. And that's how you have to look at things like that. It has a Dark Souls element where you go into an area, there's creatures, and then if you meditate, basically like a campfire, and you rest, all the enemies recharge or come back. So I do like that. That game's good. I dig that game. That game is good. And that my friend who kind of pussied out on the Star Wars game originally, he got me that game for free because he had a download code for it. So not only do I like the game, I like it even more because it didn't cost me anything. The only thing it cost me was my annoying friendship with that friend who I don't like. But yeah, so let's end the podcast on that. There's nothing else. I noticed the NBA is coming back in about 4.5 weeks. There's all these things that might happen. Coronavirus is coming back, blah, 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 blah. Nothing is going to stop now, I think, these sports leagues from playing their games. I don't think, with the death rate being so low from the coronavirus and people just getting sick more, like, I think they're going to lean on, let's take every precaution we can to not get sick. If people get sick, we quarantine them for 2 weeks. They're understanding how this thing works now. And I think they're able to treat it better. And we're not seeing the death rates that we saw earlier. Because we learn. So NBA is coming back. NFL is coming back. I would go to a game. Don't care. I would go to a game and then go home, stay at home for a while, out of respect. No, but people are saying that going out without a mask is disrespectful to others, and you're part of the problem. It's like, well, if I go out in public and I'm nowhere near anybody, do I really have to? You have to, when you leave your house, you have to wear a mask. That's not how. If I go for a run at noon and I'm not around anybody, I don't have to wear a mask. It is not etiquette at that point. Do you think my spores are going to travel into the? It's not that contagious. You have to be around somebody within a 6 foot, and I highly doubt it's even 6 feet. It's probably 3 because they always double that shit anyway. Just how I think that the 14-day quarantine is overkill. They're always going to do overkill. They're always going to side on the what was that? What's it saying? Err on the side of caution. They're always going to do. I bet it's 7 days, and they just double it. Because people won't even listen to that 14 thing anyway because we're stupid. It's just like when the coronavirus happened. They were like, you have to wash your hands for 30 seconds. Do you know how long 30 seconds is, everybody? You have to sing the happy birthday song. And then, I know how long 30 seconds is. Don't tell me about a song that everybody knows about. Because you don't think I know how long 30 seconds is. And people can sing quick. You can speed up the tempo. And then that's not 30 seconds. But I think we'll be okay. I saved the coronavirus talk till the end. That kind of bums everybody out. But I did start the podcast with a child pornography story. So there's that. What's more depressing? What should be in the news more? Coronavirus? We're all going to die. But we're not. Or the fact that 400 kids have been rescued. Well, that's a good story. Let's not lead with that. Let's not. That's fine. Let's talk about coronavirus for 5 months straight. And let's all talk about how terrible the cops are to black people and people of color. Let's talk about that. Let's burn places down because of that. Let's not. Good news? Oh, you have good news? That's going to go on the website nobody's going to read. Okay? But we're going to the leading block, Block A, is going to be how terrible white people are. Okay, ready, go. Anyways, this has been another episode of the Chase Carter Concept Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you and your family, you got to keep it safe. Stay safe. I hate when people are saying that. Stay safe. Stay safe out there. I didn't know it's getting a little, it's not in my area. It's not getting dangerous. But it's not dangerous. You just stay away from crowded areas. Where there's concentrated people, stay away from those people. Stay away. If people want to gather, crowds, always hated them. I'm not going to get involved in a crowd. The last place I wanted was a big crowd. Went to some, I don't even like dancing, went to some club. And there was a huge brawl that broke out. Huge brawl. Security guards were hit over the head with glass bottles. I couldn't even. I'm going to tell that story in a future podcast. But this fat lady who wasn't even involved in the altercation sees a security guard like trying to stop people from fighting, doing his job, not hurting anyone, just standing in between these two groups of people. This fucking piece of trash grabs a bottle and hits him in the back of the head with it. That person should be buried in the dirt. This dude, he was 300 pounds, huge Samoan dude, dropped to his knees, hit him perfectly in the back of the head. And later I saw him in an ambulance on the gurney. But I just got the hell out of there. All these people trying to be these fake tough gangsters. You live in Apple Valley or Victorville. What are you talking about? I bet the whole thing, somebody stepped on somebody's shoe. I'm not going to let anyone disrespect me. Oh, you let someone disrespect you and you leave. As a civilized society, that's what you do. Oh, my manhood is tested. Is tested. So I got to stick up for myself. What are you doing with your life? You're going to cause harm and danger to other people because your manhood is tested? It's not like somebody came to your house and slapped you across the face with a glove and tested your manhood. There was a miscommunication. There was a misunderstanding, and you took it as hostile. And then you're just going to add fuel to the fire and cause a brawl. And then other people are dumb. They see people acting stupid, so they're going to act stupid. I don't know how I got off on that rant. That was an extra 10 minutes of the podcast I didn't mean to put out there. I apologize. I greatly apologize. I hope everyone didn't get offended. Actually, I don't care. Don't care. I might take that part out. I hope everyone didn't get offended. I hope everyone has a good week. And don't stay safe. Go out there. If you want to go for a run, run. If you're sick, stay at home. It's real simple. Just like a normal person would. Just like if you had the cold. Out of respect for everybody else, you stay home. If you're healthy and you feel fine, leave your house. Even though I don't like leaving my house very often, leave your house. Go out there. Oh, so annoying. But everyone have a good one. Hope you enjoy the podcast. And I'll see you next week. Okay, bye. Okay, bye.
You got this shit knocking, though.